great heavens! Okay. Sorry I took a while to see this movie, but I really wanted to wait until I was able to see it where I was going. So, since I was gonna visit my grandparents. But yeah. Anyway, you were here for that. Let's get into it. And before I start, just wanted to let you know that in case I can't use the video footage, I will be supplementing it with Mario gameplay footage and screenshots. Since last time, Universal kind of went sicko mode on the monetization, so right off the bat, it was really good. I came in with low expectations, or, timid, I guess I could say. I wouldn't say it blew me out of the water, but it was really good, honestly. It wasn't a junk food movie, it was just good. I think straight away, the first thing I can say about it is that it was very fast paced, literally would not let you rest. And while I do appreciate that, so things wouldn't just get stale and boring, I do wish that when it got to a new environment or a new setting, like, getting to DK's jungle or getting to the Ice Kingdom or something like that, that it would just let us look at the scenery and soak it in. It doesn't really do that. It just kind of shows you, like, kind of teasing you, and then it just eats you out of the way and just gets you right back into the plot, which again, I appreciate so things don't get stale, but these environments are actually well thought out, so I kind of would have liked to seen the environments. But to be fair, I can see how this can technically be excused since we're literally dropped right in the middle of the conflict, so it wouldn't make sense why everything's so rushed, in terms of plot progression. But putting plot reasons aside, I just wish for a little more room to just, see, I guess. Despite this though, the emotional moments, the moments where they were supposed to be slow and take in what Mario or Luigi's feeling, that still had enough room to breathe. So I'm at least glad those were semi-intact. Now, this is something I personally just couldn't get out of my mind as I saw the entire movie. I kind of heard that there was licensed music in it, and I was like, well, at this point, I just expect it in the movies, but usually they have decent integration with the movie. Here, I don't know what they did, but it just literally feels like it was added last minute. It doesn't feel like these were thought out choices beforehand. They just needed something, recognizable, something catchy, something everybody knew, instead of, going for something that would fit the mood, like something orchestrated or something that was made for the scene it was put in, something more fitting. And speaking of, there was a thread that contained what seemed to be the original renditions of the scenes before the licensed music was put in them. And after seeing that, and the fact that it was taken down, it further gives me credence and validates that these were edits that were made very last minute before the movie was published. And while it's not the worst thing in the world for sure, it did kind of break my immersion a lot. I would say a little bit, but it did a lot, because whenever it would happen, I would literally get thrust back into reality and realize I was sitting in a cinema seat while watching the movie, and then just realizing that they put a recognizable song in there. That's kind of something I don't like at all, when the music literally just takes you, when that's one of the most important things about a movie. It's supposed to suck you into the scene. It's supposed to do some of the heavy lifting alongside the visuals. So for me, it ruined the scenes that they were in, which is sad, because those are when the literal individual worlds are usually introduced and shown off. And instead of looking at the amazing scenery, I'm just distracted by Take On Me, for example. Now, this is more of an Illumination problem, because they tend to do this for every single movie. In fact, to bring up a perfect example, there's literally an entire movie that's based on licensed music. So, it's not like it's out of the norm for them. But again, it really just sticks out here. It doesn't work. So if for the sequel, they can just focus on the music that they contracted the person to orchestrate the music for, the movie, that would be great, because those renditions that I got to listen to before I got taken down, it was really decent. It worked. If I'm not mistaken, they were actually used in the trailer, like the reveal trailer. So it's kind of just another point of, I don't know, I just wish it got used instead of just, hey, licensed music, let's use the most generic picks ever. Take On Me, I Need a Hero. Oh my god, you do not need to put licensed music in every single movie. It does not need to be there. And I think it stings more because, especially like in the scenes that didn't use that, which was the majority of the movie, where they used actual Nintendo music and the music that they they made for the movie, it actually fit well. It worked in cohesion with the movie. Another sting in the butt for that. It literally goes to show that these types of movies can make it work. It's almost like the source material is a part of the DNA. Sonic. Now, hey, look. I'm not gonna dunk on Sonic. I still love those movies to death, especially the sequel. But towards the end of the sequel, just to go on the little tangent a little bit, it was literally open to use something there's more significant, like Crush 40 or something like that. Literally, Sonic Heroes could have worked as an instrumental, but no, they didn't use it. They just used a generic instrumental piece, and that kind of stings because like the only sort of recognizable piece of music that I can recall, it was a Green Hill Zone cover that they used in the first movie, and that was in the first movie, not even in the second. But still, I still love those movies. It's just that, come on, it's right there, please. At least for the third movie, like Mario made it work. Why can't you make it work, Sonic? Anyway, which look, sure, it may fit the realistic world to just give him a little more time to cook, I guess. Literally, it was Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, 3 anthro animals fighting a giant Death Egg robot. Like, come on. It was beyond the point of being realistic, and most of the humans were out of the town at that point, so come on. Anyway, this isn't about Sonic, it's about Mario, so back to Mario. But yeah, nothing really more to say there. I just really love the fact that they made Nintendo music work, that they made it work in a movie setting, and that it is possible to have that. This is something that makes a pretty sizable chunk of Mario games and makes it work. And to have just the games represented in general, but not only that, but working smoothly with each scene, that's just great, dude. On that note, like going back to before, I really appreciated the world building. It was really cool. That was something I wasn't expecting the movie to do well, which, you know, I had just expected them to go like down a pipe, you know, them to follow the TV show, because I did watch that as a kid. I just kind of expected them to do that, but you know, a movie version of that adaptation. But while they did do that, it was a little more thought out. Like, the world was very fleshed out, like the way they explained Peach getting to there, how each world would work together. It connects really well. Like, we literally saw representation from Mario 64, Mario Odyssey, Yoshi's Island. So the fact that they made each world connect together and like work alongside with the human world, that's really cool. And the fact that the humans actually look like Mario and not what Odyssey had a depiction of them, I appreciate that so much. You don't understand. Of course, you could excuse the Odyssey ones being like a different sort of species, or you know, separated by land. Yeah, I definitely like the Mario version better. This definitely gets me more excited for the sequels, where they could possibly delve deeper into how the world ticks and etc. It's really cool. It's definitely something I wish they could get more into, because Mario technically could have interesting lore and cool settings and stuff, which it does, by the way, but it doesn't really get into that. It's just more like a backdrop to have Mario platform in, instead of like truly exploring it, which is something Miyamoto is actually against. Like, he's against any sort of story, so I'm not a fan of that. But oh well, that's literally like the only reason why we haven't gotten any more character development for Mario, any more story out of, like, the only thing I can think of that had truly like a deep sort of story was Galaxy with Rosalina, and then they immediately dropped it for the sequel. So yeah, I just wish they could do more with the world, because he has an interesting world. I just wish they could take advantage of it. And speaking of, and I don't think I've ever been this invested in Bowser. Of course, like, I love the big reptile. Like, who couldn't? The dude is literally like the most villain ever. He can literally do what Eggman cannot. He can literally kick Mario's ass if he wanted to. And I always appreciated his depiction in Bowser's Inside Story. That's like key Bowser to me. But the way he looks, especially with his visible scales, like, you can tell he's like a lizard slash reptile. It's a very cool detail, like, especially on his shoulder. That's like the thing I gravitated toward. And of course, the fact that he can sing, rock the piano, and he likes rock. Oh! Which is a nice little callback to Mario Kart 8. But anyway, but look at this lovely lad! And speaking of characters and voices, I guess the most obvious part of the movie was the voices. I watched the Spanish dub, so specifically the Latin Spanish dub, so I didn't you cannot ask me to listen to Seth Rogen or Chris Pratt even with a gun in my head, okay? I'm not going to listen to the only reason I would listen to the English dub is for Jack Black, but that's it. I would literally just go in manually, take out Jack Black's lines out of the movie and then put him in the Spanish version. But that's even an insult towards the Spanish version, because the Spanish version is actually really good, at least the Latin Spanish dub, though. I cannot speak for the European Spanish one. I did hear a little bit of it, and then anyway, so basically, yeah, I wasn't subjected to the celebrity curse that is the English dub, which, by the way, amazing job to everybody on the Latin Spanish dub, especially my bro Bowser, voiced by Hector Estrada. Yo, he did such a good job. I'm not even kidding with this. Like, he did an amazing job. You probably couldn't understand what he's saying, you know, if you don't speak Spanish, but I just implore you to take a listen to his voice, especially his singing voice, yo. Pero sí, muchas gracias por dar tu máximo aquí. Definitivamente se nota y tú le diste tanta energía a Bowser. Me encanta tanto y yo voy a ver la película así para siempre. But I guess it's just the simple things left to wrap up this video. References are very frequent, but I'd say tasteful. It never felt like too much or an insult. It just felt like a good homage to the source material and for people to tell, you know, things that they know. And, you know, I kind of like prefer this more because it shows like they understand the source material instead of just coming off as like out of touch. It felt more tasteful. Overall, just really good, especially since this is an Illumination project we're talking about. So I'm glad this ended up really good. I'm just so glad Nintendo was involved, at least specifically to keep a tight grip on, you know, so they couldn't insert fart jokes or something like that, so it keeps it focused and something, you know, good. And I mean that because if Illumination had full control, it would have been Jover, bro. It would have been Minions, but Mario, or worse, the Dr. Seuss movies energy, but Mario. Oh man. Also, very quick last thing I wanted to, I guess, complain about. I don't know. Missed opportunity to use Toadsworth. Did you just forget Toadsworth is a thing? That he was Mario's caretaker in the Mario and Luigi games. He was canonically the person that took care of Peach as a baby. So why not insert Toadsworth? There's a round table scene in the movie, and then there's an old guy that's called General Toad, and he sounds like, you know, he's old. Why not use Toadsworth for that? That would have made more sense, you know? And of course, the Toads taking care of Peach made sense, but like, why not use Toadsworth as like a parental figure? That's what he was for in the Mario and Luigi games. But I guess they just forgot he existed like Nintendo did. These characters exist, use them for Christ's sake. Come on, there's more than just Toads and Mario and Luigi, come on. Anyway, yeah, the small thing aside, I really like the movie, and yeah, I think that's it for my thoughts. Yeah, thanks for watching, bye.